The primary aim of social psychology is to attempt to understand and explain the basic psychological processes of perceiving, learning, striving, etc., as they occur in the social environment. The basic social environment is the group. Each individual is a member of many groups, like the family group, the school group, the work group, and the social club group. Within each group, the individual assumes a position, such as the child, the parent, the student, and the teacher. Each of these positions in the group has an associated set of behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs expected of an individual who occupies the position. Such a set of expectations is called a role. A group is a collection of individuals who are in a cooperative, interdependent relationship with one another. The term interdependent not only implies that there is interaction between the individuals, but also that the members share some common norms with regard to certain behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs, and that there must be a system of interlocking rules, such that each member has certain expectations regarding how others behave towards him and how he ought to behave towards others in the group. Thus, an important property of the group is that there is a group structure. The group structure is a differentiation of roles and role relationships within a group. There is a high degree of structure in a group that is highly organized, in which each member's role and function is specified as in a football team. Group structure. Group structure involves a hierarchy of status and role relationships. Further, it involves specific channels of communication and specific persons in the hierarchy who are responsible for decision making, which determine the way in which the activities of the group are to be conducted and the goals to be attained by the group. Thus, a group not only has a structure, but it has also a goal, a purpose towards which it is striving. All these characteristics are to be found not only in a football team, but also in the street corner gang. Street corner gang has its leaders and sub-leaders who have high status in the hierarchy. Each member of the subgroup has certain specified channels of communication. Only those in leadership position have the decision-making authority. It is clear that all these characteristics are also to be found, though in a more complicated manner, in the formal groups like the military group or an industrial concern or the government. Cohesiveness. Another important property of a group is its cohesiveness. Cohesiveness is the strength of the forces that keep the group together. Cohesiveness literally means sticking together. If a group is highly cohesive, it remains intact even when it is faced by many adverse circumstances. For example, the family will be a well-knit group if the husband and wife love and respect each other, and if there is mutual love between the parents and children. Even if there is temporary separation, even if there is illness or such other misfortunes, the group will function with great cohesion. On the other hand, if the relationship between the parents is not satisfactory, all the individuals may be nominally living together, but there will be continual conflicts and lack of discipline. Nothing gets done at the appropriate time on the appropriate occasion. Hostile subgroups may be formed within the family. The father and son may join up against the mother, and daughter or the father and daughter may join up against the mother and son. They are unable to undertake any activity as a group. Finally, the group may break up in a divorce court. The husband and wife may have bitter quarrels and seek separation. Or worse still, the husband may kill the wife, or the wife may poison the husband, or the son may kill the father, and so on. It is a familiar fact that such cases are tried in the courts and reports are published in the papers. Also, the novelists, short story writers, and dramatists portray these events in art creations, and films are based on stories like these. Thus, the group may be united and highly cohesive, or it may break down and go to pieces as it were. This is true not only of the family but also of all kinds of groups, right up to the level of nations. The events of 1947 broke up India into two nations, India and Pakistan. The events of 1971 broke up Pakistan into two further nations, namely Pakistan and Bangladesh. In the same way, there have been such disruptions within the country also. For example, in 1947, the former state of the Punjab was broken up into two states. West Punjab becoming a part of Pakistan and East Punjab becoming a part of India. Since then, East Punjab has been divided into three other states, namely the Punjab, Haryana, and Himachal Pradesh. Due to various reasons, the members of the state felt that they could not live together in one state. They had to divide and get out. This is so in a joint family also. A highly cohesive joint family may divide up into a number of nuclear families depending on the number of sons in the family, either as a result of bitter conflicts or as a result of mutual misunderstandings. Thus, group cohesiveness may be the strongest link which binds together many subgroups, or it may be so weak that all the subgroups fall apart. There are many motives which promote group cohesiveness, like the need for affiliation, achieving group goals, and need for power and status. But we must remember that these very factors may destroy the cohesiveness of the group. The desire of the father in the joint family to have power and status and the way in which he loves the members of the family may promote cohesiveness. However, the desire of the sons and daughters-in-law to have power and status may lead to a breakup of the joint family. Sharing common interest. When we consider the characteristics of the persons who are members of one group and try to distinguish them from the characteristics of those who are not the members of that group, it will be seen that the members of the group share some common interest. The common interest may relate to maintaining a home or getting a job done, or worshipping in the same church or pursuing some sport, etc. They may also have similar attitudes, hold similar beliefs, and behave in similar ways. Persons with common interests join together to attain the goal or goals common to them. In their interactions, they develop the attitudes, beliefs, and ways of behaving which are similar to one another. Thus, sharing common attitudes and beliefs presupposes communication. It presupposes that the members of the group express their ideas. Such communications provide support for the attitude that is shared, particularly when they are held by the important persons in the group, who are occupying important positions in it. Such sharing of common interest and common attitudes and beliefs promote cohesion or group solidarity. When there is cohesion, it will be possible for the members to mobilize themselves quickly and effectively for some collective action. As we learned, group cohesiveness promotes greater cooperation among the members because they have a shared goal or a group goal. When any member of the group attains the goal, the whole group rejoices. As, for example, when some member of the school gets recognition by winning the trophy in games or elocution competition or music competition, etc. The whole school rejoices. The basic of attraction to the group may lie in the interaction itself. The members feel rewarded by the interaction with other members. It is possible that the needs of the various members are complementary. So, interaction becomes mutually satisfactory. The members may be attracted to the group because each member finds the group activities to be inherently rewarding, like, for instance, those who join the group for recreation or for a hobby. A third source of attraction may be because the membership is a means to achieve some other ends. For example, becoming a member of the local Rotary Club may be a means to enhance one's status in the society. It could also be that they join the group to get their own interest advanced, like the membership of Farmers Association or Chamber of Commerce and Industry, trade union, and so on. Cohesiveness of the caste group. The above discussion of the factors operating to promote group cohesiveness is based on the functioning of voluntary groups, which are formed on the basis of individual choice. We must now discuss the factors which promote group cohesiveness in the non-voluntary groups, that is, the groups with members born into it as the caste groups, the creedal groups, the linguistic group, the regional groups, and so on. Caste membership is not a matter of choice. Similarly, belonging to a particular religious or language group is not a matter of choice. It is these groups which operate very significantly in Indian society. It will be readily seen that caste membership or community membership, particularly in the minority communities, provide a sense of security to the individuals. Further, there are very strong attempts made to influence members within the groups. In fact, in the villages even today, there is powerful threat to excommunicate the deviant members. Excommunication in the village makes life impossible since there are very close interrelationships. It is true that these threats do not operate strongly in the urban castes and communities. However, there is no doubt that the social influences are strong even in the urban groups. The important feature is that the members of the caste or community are closely related to one another. Further, these caste and community groups have clearly demonstrated their success in facilitating goal achievement. On the basis of caste or community members, one can easily succeed in bringing influence to help one to achieve success in many areas of life. Generally, if a member of the caste or community group is holding an important position in some governmental or non-governmental organization, it is easy to get jobs in that organization for the members of that caste or community. It is to eliminate these influences that in the recent decades, public service commissions have been set up and they conduct examinations to select candidates in an impersonal manner. However, there are always agitations to see that members from the important caste and communities are selected as the members of these commissions. Another significant recent phenomenon is that caste and community membership helps in one's success in elections to the legislatures. It also helps in gaining office as a minister. Finally, there is no doubt that the caste and community membership satisfies the need for interpersonal relationships. They provide the individual with emotional support, approval, prestige, etc. The members of the particular caste and community get precedence in marriage and celebrations, etc. It must also be pointed that in the 20th century, each caste and community has been organizing an association to promote the education of the poorer members of the group. Some associations have also started banks and cooperative societies to give financial help when necessary. Thus, the various groups like caste and community continue to have a strong hold on the members in spite of the fact that the Indian society has adopted secular democratic institutions. They continue to have a strong hold because they are highly cohesive groups which fulfill the affiliative needs as well as other needs of the members. Results of experimental studies. Among the techniques used experimentally in order to vary the attractiveness of the group are prestige of the group, attractiveness of the group activities, and attractiveness of the members of the group. Back 1951 showed that in the more cohesive groups, there were stronger attempts at influencing one another than in the less cohesive groups. It was also found that the deviant members of the highly cohesive groups changed their opinions more frequently in order to conform to the group than the deviant members of the low cohesive groups. Another result found was that highly cohesive groups rejected deviant members significantly more than did the less cohesive groups. All these findings have been replicated by a variety of studies. So it looks as if cohesiveness is a major determinant of the expression and acceptance of influence. It was also found that the members of a highly cohesive group feel more secure and more at ease in group activities than are members of the less cohesive groups. The members who are highly attracted to the group are more likely to take on responsibilities, to participate in the meetings, and to persist in working toward the different group goals. Many studies have been made to determine why some groups are more highly attractive and others are relatively less attractive to their members. In other words, attempts have been made to study the conditions which affect the cohesion of groups. Cartwright and Sanders, 1968, have shown that a number of studies have demonstrated that the attractiveness of a group will vary with its promised or proven success in facilitating goal achievement. The studies have shown that highly cohesive groups satisfy the needs for interpersonal relations like approval, support, prestige, etc. The group norms. The group norms give some regularity to the social events and the social interactions. They may be formally legalized or may be quite informal. They may be very general or highly specific. The norms describe a situation or set of circumstances in which the regularity applies. They include specifications as to what people think, feel or do in that situation. The nature of group norms. A group norm exists when the members of the group share favorable attitudes towards such a regularity. They agree that the regularity should be regarded as a rule that applies to specified persons in the specified situations. A group norm may be looked upon as shared acceptance of a rule. As a result, there will be an expectation with some degree of certainty that the given person will perceive, think, feel or act in that particular manner in that situation. For example, it can be expected with a certainty that a vegetarian will not eat meat, fish, etc. It can be generally expected that an Indian young man or young woman will not think of marriage until the parents make the necessary arrangements to choose a spouse, fix the date and time, and take steps to celebrate the event after inviting all the relatives and friends. Similarly, one can expect the bus, train, or plane to depart at the time specified in the timetable. So, one will make all efforts to reach the bus stand or railway station or airport well in time to catch the transport. The child enrolled in the school will be anxious to reach the school by the time the first bell rings. He will feel restless and may even become hostile to the parents if satisfactory arrangements are not made for him to leave the house in order to enable him to reach the school in time. Similarly, there are rules regarding the use of words and formulation of the sentence according to the rules of grammar. Thus, the social norms influence our attitudes, speech, actions, etc. The very existence of a formulated rule suggests that the occurrence of the prescribed behavior depends on the application of sanctions. The sanction may be positive in the sense of a reward when the behavior occurs or negative. Punishment when the behavior fails to occur. The sanction may be positive in the sense of a reward when the behavior occurs or negative. Punishment when the behavior fails to occur. The very fact of acceptance of the rule also implies the acceptance of the legitimacy or the propriety of the sanctions. If such acceptance of the rule and legitimacy of the sanctions are not there, then it is obvious that the group norm cannot function. On the other hand, when the acceptance of the group norms is there, it may be expected to be self-enforcing. There will not be any necessity for the sanctions to be applied by any outside agency. They will be applied by the person himself. He will feel glad if his behavior is in conformity, and he will feel bad if it is not in conformity with the social norm. Muzaffar Sharif, 1935, demonstrated experimentally how the perceptual norms can operate. He made use of the fact that a stationary pinpoint of light appears to be moving. If observed under laboratory conditions, in a dark room, the position of a small light is highly ambiguous. In the first part of the experiment, the subject was made to report the extent of the apparent movement of the light. After some trials, he well settled down to some uniform perception of, say, between 2 to 3 inches or 6 to 8 inches and so on. Next, 2 or 3 persons were made to observe the spot of light in a group situation. Each subject announced his own judgment regarding the extent of the movement of the light. It was found that whether the subjects had previously had an occasion to develop their own norms or not, they tended to gradually develop a group norm. In other words, though as single individuals each person had his own individual norm, when they were put in a group, they tended to give up the individual norms and agree on a group norm. This was not based on any discussion. It was purely perceptual. In the group situation, all the individuals gradually came to agree on the extent of the movement of the spot of light. Thus, through sharing experiences, a norm can develop. The judgments of each member of the group influences the other members of the group so that the group norm emerged. Cognitive norms refer to beliefs about objects, issues, etc. The traffic rules, the rules of group games, etc. illustrate the operation of cognitive norms. They refer not to physical reality like the perceptual norms, but to social reality. Here, sharing of experiences is very important. There is another set of norms which may be called the evaluative norms, that is, about the goodness or desirability of objects, etc. Finally, they are what may be termed behavioral norms. Solomon Ash brought together several groups of college students and asked each group to match the length of a given line with one of three clearly unequal lines. Each person spoke out his judgment aloud. All the members of the group except one person had received previous instruction to give a wrong judgment. One individual thus found himself in a situation where all the others contradicted his perceptual judgment. Among 50 such critical subjects, there was a marked shift towards the majority responses. But control subjects did not show any such change. However, even among the critical subjects, only 1/3 of them changed to fall in line with the majority, but the remaining 2/3 stuck in their perception. Another interesting result was that while some of the subjects remained independent of the majority opinion, some were almost always influenced to conform to the majority against their own perception. The functions of group norms. A group norm can endure only if it is advantageous to the group as a whole and to a considerable number of members. Another function of the group norm is to facilitate interaction between the members. Interaction can occur if there is some sharing of experiences. This presupposes the existence of some perceptual and cognitive norms, some mutually recognized ways of looking at the world around, and some beliefs regarding the phenomena in the world around. Another example is washing of hands by Indians before they take a meal. Many items of food are common throughout India. All of them drink their coffee or tea with milk and sugar. In other countries, people do not invariably use milk and sugar. No Indian can overeat his rice or chapati without a curry or pickle. Indian curries and Indian pickles are famous dishes in the world. Several sweet preparations are common throughout the country. No Indian feast is complete without pan. There are also striking similarities in institutions. Another norm with respect to marriage throughout the country, among all the caste, creed and language groups, is arranged marriage. The young men and women, however highly educated and modernized they may be, wait for the parents to arrange the marriage. They fully participate in the traditional mode of marriage. Another typical thing is the eager participation in marriage festivities. All the relatives and friends, in fact the whole population of the village, will participate with great zest. It is a well-known fact that many thousands of families are ruined every year by the debts they incur to celebrate marriages. Even when there is acute food scarcity, there will be grand feast. These commonalities prevail in the midst of many diversities in the subcultures which constitute Indian society. Conclusion. Group process can occur from within the group, outside of the group, and any time of year. Effective societies take a close look at how members work together, which roles they fill, and whether members are contributing equally. Through group process, observation and analysis can help identify problems early, thus alleviating the need for a major overhaul. Your vantage point as a group member provides a great opportunity to regularly observe how things are going. Depending on the frequency of meetings and an understanding of what to look for, you can be instrumental in ensuring group and individual success.